What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, and a new week, a new teaser trailer for Beyond Light. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, I will say it again and again and again, I will probably say it till the heat death of the universe. I said it with Season of the Worthy, I said it with Shadowkeep.
The marketing team at Bungie
knows how to make a fucking trailer. But, like Dune has the litany against fear, we have our own litany against hype. I must not hype. Hype is the mind killer. Hype is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my hype. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see its path. Where the hype has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Or, something like that. The point is, while this teaser looks, fucking cool, pun intended, and while we are going to be breaking it down, talking about it and the lore implications, we're gonna keep in mind that Season of the Worthy had a cool trailer. Shadowkeep had a cool trailer. Most Destiny DLCs that tend to be bad have cool trailers. So, as we're going through this, we're just gonna keep that in mind. We're also gonna keep in mind that most of these really cool trailers have often spoiled the best parts of the DLC. That said, that doesn't mean that there's not interesting things to talk about here. I just want to be clear that I'm not talking about them from a position of hype. And we'll also be doing what I know many fanboys hate me doing, and it's this little thing called speculating and extrapolating. Why? Because it's fun. And narratively speaking, there's no such thing as an original story. Hell, the Book of the Unveiling and Season of the Arrivals and likely Beyond Light are literally little more than Paradise Lost with a twist. A comparison I'm about 2,674 words into the third draft of the script for, so expect that hopefully before Beyond Light, with maybe some special guest. But enough hyping up my own shit, what did I say about hype? So without further ado, let's dive right in.
Chains! For centuries we have been bound by them. We have become pawns of our own devices. No longer!
Darkness walks among us. We are all in great danger. My kind must survive. Please, send help.
Where is the signal coming from?
Here, Europa.
Wait!
Old friend, these powers, they are changing you.
Aramis's presence on Europa is not happenstance. Obsession propelled her here.
Our enemies stand no chance against this power. The great machine will finally know our pain.
So was that good for you? Because, it was good for me. Jokes aside, the teaser opens with Aramis addressing her house Dark. Our first introduction to Aramis was via the lore entry Outliers, which states, Aramis the Ship Stealer, a House Devil's Baroness, incarcerated during the Wolf War. Number 2029 successfully fled the Prison of Elders during the mass escape orchestrated by number 1121. Varix the Loyal. Number 2029 is a classical fallen pirate of the old ways, vicious, uncompromising, and possessing cunning of the highest degree. Field reports indicate that she is rallying violent dissidents to reconstruct House Devils from the ground up. This agent believes her to be the most viable candidate for universal fallen reunification, and would urge the Vanguard and other interested leadership to aggressively prioritize her destruction. This would result in the 0-hour mission where she, along with her House of Devils, tried to break into the old tower and take Outbreak Perfected, likely trying to regain Siva. She would be stopped, however, thanks to a joint effort between the Guardian and Mithrax of House Light. The ideological differences between these two houses, House Light and House Dark, can be seen in this line that we see later on in the teaser.
Our enemies stand no chance against this power. The great machine will finally know
where Mithrax is quoted as saying, "The wolves rebelled, now they are extinct. This is where my people's scattering must end. I will lead an open-minded Elixni. None of Spider's underhandedness, none of Varrix's lies, sure Ido's truths. We fight for the Traveler together." So the ideological splitting between the Fallen Houses is, in my opinion, where the story should go. Because it's also, narratively speaking, the same ideological breakdown happening between the Guardians, most notably Zavala,
who may or may not be disenfranchised with the Traveler.
I say may or may not be disenfranchised with the Traveler because the source of the information, it comes from the Traveler's chosen lore card, which is a product of Savathûn.
All we have left now is our faith. I push into my ossific den, and he is there. I see him looking over the side, towards his Traveler, head bent. He is speaking softly, but I can hear him. Anyone who's listening could. He waits for a response, and I do as well. Tense, curious. He stands attentively, this loyal dog of a man. It is no time at all for me, but for him, the hours creep by in silence. I am ready to choke out the voice of his Traveler if it answers him, but there's nothing. He tightens his grip on the railing. I feel something shift inside him. And a new possibility presents itself. Again, I press against the sockets. The net creeps softly with my eagerness. Someone approaches, and he turns his back to his Traveler. There's an exchange, obscured by the Rubrican thrush. He is given reports. Hope bleeds from him. He gives the messenger a token of his faith. They accept it without understanding its meaning. He watches as they leave. There is a hollow place in his center. It is beautiful. I return Riley. I do not see him, but I hear him. He speaks to all with a voice thick with grief. I must learn how far I've been sent back.
I reach to him, tentatively. Strength. I push, and feel only sweet, soft rot.
I am delirious with pleasure. It gave them no answers. It was a reflex, the spasm of dumb muscle. A song of joy rises within me. Now.
So, this could be one of two things. This could be the truth. However, as we've seen with Truth to Power, Savathûn is nothing but a liar. And what better way to divide us from the Vanguard than to play on our trust of the lore books in their totality? Even if by this point we really should know better, or at least consider the source. That's not to say that there's no moral conflict within Zavala. For all we know, he could be the next Aramis. But that's not Savathûn corrupting him, as Savathûn and the Darkness seem to be enemies, or at the very least antagonistic towards one another. Savathûn hates her enslavement to the Darkness via the worms. It's not too dissimilar from our reliance on the Ghost, or the Fallen's reliance on Ether. Almost like the powers that be like to tether their servants. Also, during Season of Arrivals, Savathûn worked to sever our connection to the Darkness. So while I'm not saying that Zavala isn't primed to abandon the Traveler, the lore card on the Traveler's Chosen is, well, as the kids say, kinda sus. But moving forward, since we're sitting here talking about characters, let's go ahead and move right along to Varrix, who seems to be trying to stop Aramis. And wouldn't you know, while I'm editing this, a character profile for Varrix has been released, so let's go ahead and play that.
In darkness, there is only one truth. Death. I have seen what power has done to Aramis. But perhaps you are different. Perhaps there is hope.
As most people will likely know, but because every video is somebody's first, Varrix the Loyal served as House Judgment's envoy to Skolas during the Reef Wars. However, Varrix was disturbed by Skolas' brutality. After Skolas docked him of his upper arms, he abandoned the Kel to join the Reef. His betrayal allowed the Queen to learn of Skolas' impending attack on Sibel, leading to Skolas' incarceration. After that, he would serve as our guide, with Petra, during the House of Wolves event. After the main story of House of Wolves, Varrix would serve as the vendor for the Prison of Elders. The next largely notable thing that he would do is free Uldren from the aforementioned Prison of Elders, then go into hiding. The blurb on the Bungie website states, after helping Uldren Zav escape the Prison of Elders, Varrix has only recently emerged from hiding, an uneasy ally in the fight against Aramis. He is a shrewd opportunist who wants to do good even if his choices are always suspect. Now, Varix is a super interesting character because everything he does is for the continued survival of the Fallen, as sort of this neutral third-party observer who does anything but stay neutral, kind of like a very hands-on referee. And as confusing as that might sound, it really isn't. He's neutral until the point that he needs to intervene to do what he thinks is best for the Fallen. Or, that's always the vibe that I've gotten. But, moving forward. The last character we see briefly, of course, is the Exostranger, and I've saved the best for last because, well, it has the most spoilers that have come to light. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, leave now or forever hold your peace. Remember to like, subscribe, feel free to donate to my Patreon, but above all else, stay frosty. As for everybody else, well, the Exostranger is a complex character, and one of my absolute favorite characters to speculate about. No, really, I've done quite a few videos on her. In fact, here's some of the highlights from said videos outlining the TLDR of what's actually going on with the Exostranger in Destiny 1.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You're interesting. Not entirely interesting, but you have promise.
Signal dropped. I got some broken coordinates. Venus, Northern Hemisphere, Ishtar region.
Who are you?
Why have you been watching us?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. You need my help, Guardian.
Is that why you brought us here?
Evil so dark it despises other evil.
You're not a Guardian.
No. I was not forged in light. But I believe where our paths cross, ground could break. Find the Black Garden. Rip out its heart. Only then will your traveler begin to heal.
So, think you can kill a god?
Don't think I have a choice.
There's so much more, Guardian. I've seen terrible things born out in the darkness. Every moment brings them closer. All ends are beginnings. Our fight is far from over.
Destiny is ultimately a time travel story. Time travel in Destiny traditionally works via the mini-world string theory interpretation, which is the idea that there's an infinite number of realities, and because of this, you can't time travel in your own timeline. If you go back in time, you're not going back in time in your own timeline, you've just gone to another reality. One that looks nearly identical to your home reality, but the only change in that reality is the you of that reality had cornflakes instead of waffles for breakfast. Or as different as, say, the Exostranger not knowing what the Hive are because the Hive in her reality never came to her Earth, provided the Hive even existed at all. The difference of that reality could have been the Hive never became the Hive, they never left Fundament, and they died in the Zizagi. And yeah, by the way, that's actually lore. When the Exostranger came to our reality, or one version of our reality, she had no clue what the Hive were. And this mini-world's interpretation of how time travel functions in Destiny has been established and utilized throughout Destiny 1 into Year 1 of Destiny 2 with references as late as Forsaken with the ghost stories. The second the Exostranger, a time traveler, interacted with us on the moon after scrolling through dozens of different timelines to find the one where something different happens, where we happen, she reaches out to us, and in that one moment, we're no longer in our original timeline. We've been diverted into another. Not by us getting into a time machine and stepping across world lines, but because the Exostranger did. The Exostranger has been a character seemingly lost to time, pun intended. In Destiny 1, the last time any lore connected to the Exostranger was given to us was with No Time to Explain, and the engraving Soon. In Destiny 2, during the Warmind DLC, through a series of short lore entries, we learn the story of a woman named Elsie Bray, Anna Bray's adoptive sister. It would later be revealed via an ARG that Elsie Bray was none other than the Exostranger. And from this ARG, we also learn that the Exostranger was working with Rasputin to perfect a time machine. On top of working with Rasputin to develop a time machine, during the Queen's Court storyline, Marzov would speak of meeting and preparing with a mutual friend of ours before disappearing before our eyes, the same way the Exostranger had in Destiny 1.
Both the Queen and the Exo Stranger have been working behind the scenes preparing for the coming of the darkness.
Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into some of the new lore. First, the Bungie.net blurb. The mysterious Exo has not been seen since the fall of the Black Garden. With exceptional insight into the future, she has made Europa her home. Her experience will guide Guardians' understanding of the power of stasis. And now to the spoilers. In a Reddit post titled Letter from a Stranger and a Hidden Report in the Collector's Edition by Golgamot, in the most relevant part of this post to this video, they state, the biggest thing here is that it is finally officially 100% confirmed that Elsie is the Exo Stranger. It changed from basically canon to full canon. Elsie says that her grandfather conducted hideous experiments using the darkness on Europa, and that she aided him in them. Clovis Bray believed that he was the one to lead humanity in the future. Finally, the Stranger urges us to trust our little light when it comes to wielding stasis. She says that we must remember that we will live with our choices forever. It also looks as if Exos are a combination of Clovis Bray mixing the darkness with the Vex and human technology. This actually answers a lot of questions like, hey, why do all the Exos dream of the Deepstone Crypt? Well, it's probably because they're all connected via the Vex, even if it's only tangentially. This would also explain why Exo Guardians can, in some cases, retain fragments of their memories from before they died. Again, Vex collective consciousness. And we do see Exos still in the Deepstone Crypt. So, what are the odds that something's in there connecting these Exos and calling out to all the other Exos, and that's why they dream of the Deepstone Crypt? I don't know, but the possibility is interesting. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. A little bit of a teaser breakdown, some lore, some speculation on where I think the story is going, and honestly, all in all, Beyond Light looks good. But, as I said at the start of the video, Bungie knows how to make one hell of a teaser trailer. So, while I'm extremely interested in Beyond Light, and I can't wait to play it and I can't wait to read the lore books, I'm still going in cautiously optimistic. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. But above all else, stay frosty.